And welcome back to Sports on Tap. It's our Ohio High School football coverage. We're part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network, and we'll send it over to Ed Dick, who we have a special guest here today.
Yeah, we do. We do have the head coach at Fayetteville Perry High School down in the Cincinnati area. He has also been the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach at Franklin County High School in Indiana. He's been the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach at Greenon High School, also in Ohio. He's been with Leetonia. He's got quite the distinguished record as being the offensive coordinator, and he's put up a lot of points over his career. But right now, he is the head coach of Fayetteville Perry High School, the Rockets. Third-year coach since 2014. It's a pleasure for us to have Coach Kevin Finch on the line with us tonight. Kevin, how are you doing today, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on it, guys.
Oh, hold on a sec here.
We appreciate you taking time to come on our show today.
Oh, no problem.
Hey, well, so far, Coach, you guys are 5-2. And you guys are putting up a lot of points here so far. I want to talk a little bit about your program so far up to this point this year, and bringing us up to speed on some of the players. We obviously know who Chase Jester is. He of the almost 400-yard effort a couple weeks ago. Yeah. He downgraded the last couple of weeks, only having over 100 yards. But tell us about some of the players that you have on your team and who to look out for.
Absolutely. Well, you already talked about Chase Jester, and he's having a great season. In fact, last week he scored 3 touchdowns and set our new school record for touchdowns in a season, which was set last year by Caleb Dowers. And Chase is just a great kid. He's a workhorse. He's the type of kid that you can't keep out of the weight room. He never misses a weight room session. He works hard. He's when you run sprints, he's always working to try to be the first one to finish in the sprints and things like that. But he'll also be the first one to give credit to his offensive line. We have a very good offensive line. Some nice-sized kids that very strong, going from left to right. Our left tackle is junior Nate Parks. Then we have senior Andy Smith, who's been a 3-year starter, and also one of our captains. Then our center is Taylor Call, who's another captain, and then third captain is Garrett Thompson at right guard, and then our right tackle is Ryan Shaw. And I think the thing I can say most about that offensive line is they're all really close. They're all really good friends, so they come up to the line of scrimmage and they're always talking, and it's nice to see them working in unison together with that. Behind them, we have a pretty good fullback with Austin Brockman, who he runs the ball well, but he doesn't care if he never touches the ball. He just enjoys blocking for people. And Tyler Kangas is another senior who's wide receiver and is a pretty good wide receiver, but unfortunately for him, we usually don't need to throw the ball too often. It's just not our cup of tea. And the last senior I'd like to mention really quick is Skylar Menton, is another 4-year starter who mainly plays defense, but it's a pretty good senior class as far as leadership, and I've been real happy with how everything's been going so far this season.
Very well. And, last year, we're talking with Kevin Finch, the head coach at Fayetteville Perry High School. Last year you set the school record for the most points scored. You were the Ohio Valley Athletic League Coach of the Year. You won the league last year. I mean, knowing that, coming into this season, with all of those accolades, how did you prepare for this season, and how did you get your players on, to where they needed to be?
Well, we had a pretty good off season with kids getting in the weight room, and we started doing a little bit more of the 6 a.m. workouts. We started doing that once a week, and it was nice to see the players buying in with that. Just gave more players an opportunity to get in the weight room if they were playing basketball or baseball. And we do have a lot of players that are 2- and 3-sport athletes, so it helped out with that aspect. So we worked out 3 days a week after school, and then we'd have morning workout 1 day a week, and then and players really get after it in the weight room and hold each other accountable with that. So that helped out. The other thing I'd really like to point out is the leadership that our seniors this year really stepped up and became very good leaders. We had some good leaders last year and graduated a pretty good class last year, and this group stepped right in and continued to roll. I think that's been the difference right now.
You know, one thing I noticed too. I mean, you guys are 5-2 on the year, and 2 out of the last 3 games that you guys have played, you've scored 61 points. Talk a little bit about some of the games you've played, especially the last 3. How has your offense been able to put up some pretty big numbers? You've gotten some big wins, obviously, this season, but the last 3, putting up 61 points, 2 out of the last 3 games, is pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. Again, it's just those guys are just coming together and really starting to notice it in practice, where there's almost rarely we're getting to the point where we rarely have to run a play over again. They know their assignment, they know their responsibility. So now it's just working on the technique part and continue to improve on that aspect. And I think as you mentioned, that's right about when we were able to score much easier, is when they really started to get comfortable with the offense and things just started to work well. Every year we adjust it, we tweak it according to our personnel. Last year we were in a 3-back offense most of the time, and this year we're more on a 2-back offense. Most of the time, and it took a little adjustment, and some of the plays that were successful for us last year don't quite fit our personnel this year. And I think they've really gotten accustomed to that, especially the last few weeks. And I think, again, the players have been clicking well together. And we've been getting some pretty good practice lately, too. Even our younger guys are stepping up and really pushing our starters. And I think that's helping out tremendously, too. We got a lot of kids that are trying to find a way to get on the field, and it's helping us out with special teams depth. It's helping us out with getting good practices throughout the week.
Yeah, and one note, 2 out of the 3 teams, one was 5-2, the Hillcrest Academy, and then you look at Miami Valley Christian Academy, they were 4-2. You got a 24-13 win, and then Manchester 1-6, 61-0. So very impressive wins as you start gearing up for the playoffs ahead.
Yeah, and that's kind of our goal. We have one more league game left this week against Jefferson Township, and obviously we have to take it one week at a time. But it's always been a goal of our program to be the first team to make it to the playoffs. And you can see our kids are really locked in. They want that. They want that opportunity. Obviously, we still have a big mountain to climb with these last 3 games. We have a league game this week, and then we have a Notre Dame team. Portsmouth, Notre Dame, that's also in the same situation. They're going to be battling for playoffs, and we finish up with a Bishop Reedy team that's in the exact same position as we are, battling for a playoff spot. So we got to keep our nose to the grindstone and keep improving every week, and hope we get a shot to play another week. And that's why I just keep reminding the seniors, hey, you guys only have so many practices guaranteed left, and you've got to try to earn that extra playing time with each other, because once the season's done, it's over. You don't have anything left from it, so you got to make the most out of it that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here with this is head coach of the Fayetteville Rockets, Coach Kevin Finch. We talked a lot about the offense, and you guys have been putting up a lot of points. What's going on defensively for you guys, and how have you guys been able to keep some of these teams off the board?
Well, I think it's the nice thing, our defense kind of mirrors our offense. Our offense is, we don't take a lot of chances. We kind of control the clock and try to play the field position game. And defensively, we do the same thing. We're going to try and be sound every play. We're going to try and tackle well. But we're not a type of team that takes a lot of chances on defense. And sometimes we're a bend but not break type of defense. But last week, the big emphasis was on we got to do a better job of tackling. I thought that was something we could improve upon from the week before, and that's what we really worked on all week. We did more tackling and just worked on the fundamentals of it and the technique part of it and your first step and placement and everything like that. And I thought it really showed up this week in the game and getting a shutout against Manchester, another league opponent.
Here, head coach Kevin Finch of the Fayetteville Rockets. This is your first head coaching job. You've been an offensive coordinator for pretty much your entire career. What has been, and this is your 3rd year doing it. So I mean, it's been you're starting to to pick up some things, I imagine. What was the biggest adjustment for you going from an offensive coordinator position to the head coach, the CEO of the program, if you will?
Sure. What you find out is when I was offense coordinator is just about what front are they in, what coverage are they running, what can we do to score points, and that's it. And go watch some film and just worry about my side of the ball. Obviously, when you become a head coach, you're more ingrained in everything, especially in a small school like ours where every coach coaches on both sides of the ball and every coach has a lot of responsibility. It doesn't matter what position they have, but that's what you find. You have your hands in everything from strength and conditioning and off season to trying to build team character and not just the X and O's of the whole thing, but just trying to run an overall good program that the whole community and school can be proud of. And you have a lot of more things on your mind than just being when I was just a coordinator, just a fundraising and just it's a year-long job, really. It's a labor of love.
We're talking with Coach Finch of the Fayetteville Rockets high school football team. And Coach, obviously, like Ed said, this is your first year, and you talked a little bit about what you have to do. Was there any coaches, or you're in your third year of coaching? My bad. Sorry about that. Was there any other coaches or role models that you kind of looked to when you started getting more involved in coaching that you still use today for either advice or you call up after a game and you look just for advice or anything like that with another head coach or just another person in general?
Oh, absolutely. It's that's the nice thing about every stop I've been at. I've been under numerous head coaches that have been successful, all good guys, and I've kept in touch with all of them, and they all have different strengths. So in fact, just last week I talked to my old high school coach, Bob Spade at Columbiana, and ran a few ideas by him and got his opinion on some things. Sometimes I'll talk to Coach Slagle, who I coached for at Goshen, and he has his strengths. And Brian Blevins, when I coached for him at Kettering Fairmont, who's now the offense coordinator at Wayne, he has different things that he'll give me input on. And Matt Aldermore at Latonia. There's different things that he was good at, and John Jewell at Greenon, and then Shane Wellman at Franklin County. I still keep in touch with all of them, and they all have different strengths and different levels of experience and different expertise, and I keep in touch with all of them. And it's a nice resource. There's also a couple of guys that I've coached with that I keep in touch with, and one actually jumped on my staff this year, Josh Wooden, who I've coached with at Kettering Fairmont and Greenon, and brought a few more answers with the defensive package that I may have been trying to learn after being on the offensive side of the ball for so many years.
Very cool.
Absolutely. So, I mean,
Fumblerooski.
Yeah, I'm fumbling the ball here. My God. unlike Mr. Jester here, he have the no fumbles. So total yards, you guys are averaging over you guys have 600 more yards of offense than your opponents. Obviously your rushing yards is just phenomenal. Over 2,000 rushing yards. Passing yards at 266. Do you go into a game knowing that teams are going to obviously you've been able to run the ball no matter who you play. Have you come up with a front or come up against a front that you maybe haven't seen before as an offensive coordinator, or maybe even as in your head coaching experience that says, maybe you might need to pass the ball a little bit more this week, or is it just more of a, we're going to run the ball and see if they can stop us?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, we've seen about every type of front. Sometimes I think teams would try to sneak 12 and 13 people onto the field if they could. But yeah, we've seen all sorts of fronts. And it goes back to our front line. They're all very intelligent. They're all close friends with each other, so they talk and we have a couple of different ways that we can block some things, so we can change some of the blocking schemes if we need to. And then and we do have our play action passes that we get to if we really need to. But we also have a spread package that every once in a while we'll just get into it just to loosen the box just for a few plays, and we'll get back to our bread and butter. But our offensive line again does a tremendous job, and their coach Anthony Joseph does a nice job with them, and the running backs coach, Don Wolfer, does a great job tremendous job with ball security, takes a ton of pride with that. And I think that all goes hand in hand with being able to run the ball. And we have kids that take pride in it. And we do have a good quarterback and spin it pretty well. He's a junior. It's his first year starting. I'm sure he'd probably like to throw the ball a little bit more, but he also understands what our strengths are right now.
And when you get that much buy-in from your kids, it also makes it that much easier. And they see you guys have you have a vision as a coach, and the fact that you do have leaders on your team that have bought into it and they see the vision. And like you said, Coach, these are the playoffs are in sight. The first playoff berth in school history it's there for the taking. And
absolutely.
We certainly wish you luck on your last 3 games, especially this week. It's a conference game. It's always good to end the conference play with a win, and then you're basically your playoffs actually starts early. I imagine. Each week from here on out, it's a playoff game, a pseudo playoff game. I imagine.
I think you hit it exactly right on. And my defense coordinator today, we had a great weightlifting session, conditioning. My defense coordinator, Dave Wolfer, talked to the team about that and said that we're pretty much in playoffs now. We've got to practice like playoffs. Because we've got to win these games, and we control what we can do from this point on, and we've got to take control of that. And I think the kids are starting to see that a little bit, and know that again, it's an uphill battle. We have to take it 1 week at a time, but we got to keep plugging away because we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. We have an opportunity, and now we just have to seize that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you very much thanks for taking the time and speaking with us today, and
no problem.
And telling us about what you got going on there in Fayetteville. Full disclosure, Kevin is in fact my brother-in-law.
Wait, what?
What?
I know.
Just kidding.
Now I know why he didn't list you as one of the coaches he calls.
Well, it seems that they have kicked exactly one extra point. It was a straight toe extra point at that, which
nice.
Admittedly, I'm not the most authoritative figure on.
Right.
But no, thank you very much for coming on, Kevin. Please tell Stacy I said hello from myself and my wife Diane, and good luck to you this season. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk after week 10 and into week 11.
Sounds good. Again, thanks for having me on, and I enjoy listening to your guys' shows. So love to see you guys. I know it's far away, but like to see you guys make it down to a game sometime.
There we go.
We appreciate it very much, and thanks for taking time to come on our show today.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care, Coach. That's Coach Finch of the Fayetteville Rockets. Want to thank him for joining us.